Hey guys, hello and welcome back to another episode of Muv Luv. What happened last time? We're starting our duty to we have a week to turn Sumita into Sumita. So she's properly prepped for our mission to go into the hive. Very stressful, but we're working on it, man. Let's just get right into this. Nothing more to say. We got Kasumi on the assist. Oh, and we got the wake up. Is it Sumika? Is it Kasumi? Is it both of them? We'll see right now. Shake, shake. Shake, shake. Nope. It's just Kasumi. Kasumi? So is so is Kasumi's name just like random chance that it's Sumita spelled a different way? That's a funny red herring. Morning, Kasumi. I love how someone commented that too. And I was a little... I thought it was funny and cool, but I was a little annoyed. I'm like, oh, I wish I figured that out myself. But bro just commented like that to troll me? That makes it funnier. We practically pulled an all-nighter yesterday. After saying goodbye to Sumita, we spent a bunch of time going through her records. Man, Kasumi, aren't you tired? Dang. Oh, hang on a sec. I didn't get the chance to say this yesterday, but I'm sorry for running away. You were right, I was a coward. Some of the people in my unit scolded me for apologizing and said I was only trying to make myself feel better. But I can't hide anything from you anyway, so I might as well put my thoughts into words. I won't run away anymore. I'll keep fighting until I've made it up to everyone I've inconvenienced. So please forgive me. I'm really sorry. I'll take that. Kasumi. That means a lot coming from you. After all, if it were just a facade, you could see right through it. Oh, and one more thing. I wanted to thank you for being Sumita's friend. I probably don't even have any right to say this, but I mean it. Thank you. Huh? Kasumi. Huh? It's our main job. We don't really have anything else to do. But we should, like, also talk to our squad. Especially since we do have the dangerous mission coming up. So we kind of have to balance that. Alright, after my morning classes end. Sorry, but you're on your own until then. Don't worry. I'll get down there to relieve you ASAP. Huh? Kasumi. Alright, what's on the morning docket? Lore. Tat.
1977年オルタネイティブ3によって実施された陽動効果の実証実験だ。この実験は世界数カ所の背部に同一パターンの陽動を開始時期をずらしながら仕掛けるという内容だった。
Interesting. I didn't know they were doing those sorts of experiments during Alternative 3. Seems a hell of a lot more practical than trying to give test tube babies ESP to read their minds. Yeah. But to win, you need a really big advantage, right? So you gotta gamble. Gotta gamble a bit.
その結果は子供騙しレベルから複雑なものまで1パターンあたり最短で19日間も効果があったという驚くべきものだった。
Oh, so there's... So, if you make a new tactic, you only got 19 days to put it until they fully counter it? What the hell, beta? They're adaptive. You're intelligent life forms with technology for interstellar travel, but you'll fall for the same trick over and over again. Wait, did I misread it? Let me go over it again. I think I'm misunderstanding. Demonstrate that diversionary tactics are extremely effective against the beta. So like distracting them, baiting them. This is proven. Using the same diversionary tactics at different times. So I still think they adapt, but they fall for baits easily, basically. I don't think it's the same tricks over and over, right? Or maybe it's like hive to hive. Not that I'm trying to downplay the threat they pose to us. I've learned firsthand how fearsome they can be, but come on, are we really losing to a bunch of dumbasses like that? Everyone has their weaknesses. Apparently, getting baited easily is the betas. Which kind of made sense, because they don't, like, individually think. I think. Actually, we don't know that. I just assume it's, like, a hive, you know, an insect thing. Or they're just made for a singular purpose. So when you're a being like that, then I don't think there's a lot of room in your brain for adapting to, like, baits and stuff. I could be wrong, though. I'm not a biologist. Especially a fictional alien biologist.
だが、興味深いことに、一つの陽動パターンがとあるハイブに属するベータ群に通用しなくなると、ほぼ同時期に遠隔地にある別のハイブに属す
So
る
it's
ベー
not
タ群
hive
にその
from
パターンに
hive.
通用しなくなった。
I mean, this kind of just proves my theory that they're all like hive-minded, right?
しかもその後、実験対象外だったハイブで同じ陽動パターンを試すと、
Right,
最
okay.
初から全く通じないという
So
結果
it
が
is.
出
So
た。
it's not Tantra just being a dumbass and said it in a confusing way. They're not falling for the same tricks and again. They're easily baitable, but you gotta find new ways to bait them every time, basically. Or at least every 19 days of the assault. Which means that they must be communicating with each other somehow, even if they're slow learners. I think I saw something like this on TV back in my world. After a certain number of monkeys on one island started washing potatoes before eating them, another group of monkeys on a different island started doing the same thing almost immediately. That's wild. I have not heard of that, and I feel like that goes against my insect theory, because monkeys definitely don't have that sort of ability. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that,
そのいずれ
man.
のハイブでも多少アレンジを加えれば、ほぼ同じ内容の陽動であっても効果が認められたらしい。
Okay, so you only need to make slight alterations to the plan. Alright, that does seem abusable, for sure.
このように奴らの戦術的対処は非常に緩慢だ。愚鈍と言ってもよい。
But they just overpower with sheer numbers and force, right?
まあ、考えようによっては圧倒的な物量を持つゆえの余裕かもしれないな。
Yeah, that would be a funny explanation. They just don't give a shit, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You think they just don't care? Kind of Chad mentality right there.
といってもその度に戦闘に勝ったわけではないしな。
Huh?
実際、実験期間中の戦闘は
80%.
8割方負けている。
So even if they get a nice preemptive strike advantage in the fight, they still just lose. That sucks, yeah. So basically the beta don't bother with strategy and whatnot because they know they'll win in the end. That's pretty incredible. That is kinda sick.
この実験自体はオルタネイティブ3の主目的に対し有効な支援策を検討する目的で行われたが、
I see. So they wanted to lure the beta away from the hive to thin out their numbers and give the aspers a better shot at reading their minds.
実験実施のきっかけになったのが1973年から翌年にかけて確認された事例だった。
1973, that's when the beta first arrived on Earth.
1973
Hive
年
distribution.
4月19日、カシュガルにベータの着陸
The
ユニッ
big,
トが
the
落下した
mother
ことは
load.
知っての通りだ。
Hmm. So this is all across Asia and Europe, right? Yeah. Testing my geography for a sec. Yeah. Okay.
その着陸ユニットから出現したベータに対し、中国軍が行った航空作
2
戦は
weeks.
開
Go
戦から約
China.
2週間は有効に機能していた。
I mean, that probably like. I mean, China would probably pop off for a bit. I mean, you know, our nations are very, you know, the global atmosphere currently in our world is not great, but if a world-ending alien invasion did happen, even the not-so-friendly countries would probably pop off, so that's nice. Canada, what would we be doing? I don't know, we'd help. Send the Mounties in, bro. They don't know the power of our RCMP, man. Oops. Wait, what? I thought aerial attacks were useless from the start.
だがその後、77年の実験結果と同様に、カシュガルのベータには
So we actually had a period where aerial attacks worked.
そして74年の7月6日、アサバスカに落下したユニットに
The
対
fuck's
し、アメリカ軍は
Athabasca?
着陸とほぼ同時に核攻撃を行った。
Newts? I mean, that's reasonable. I feel like if something crazy like this happened, we definitely start with newts.
この時使用されたのは巡航ミサイルや地対地戦術核だ。いずれも航空兵器だが、ベータの出現前に着陸ユニットを殲滅することに成功した。
Nice. Love to see it.
おかしいだろ。19日以上の間を置いて落下したユニットに航空兵器の情報が伝わっていないんだ。
Yeah, that does seem peculiar. If the hives really do transmit information between one another, shouldn't they have known how to counter an aerial strike? I still think there's like just one mother beta that like has all the information. Kind of like the Tyranid in Warhammer, from what little Warhammer lore I know. I don't know a lot. But it's like one, like all beings are, basically like all this alien beings are just one real being. Like, so basically all the beta would actually just be one being, being the mother. And they're all just like moving parts. I don't know if that's real, but... Or how that would affect the question of why they didn't prep for the newts. Dun, 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 dun. Huh? That's me, huh?
それに地球が戦場になったことでの混乱も矛盾見落としの大きな原因だったに違いない。
I remember Yuto-san saying the Chinese and Soviets wanted to deal with it themselves originally and refused UN aid. That sounds like a classic from both of them, even in modern day, since this is an old game. If it took everyone till Alternative 3 to notice that, humanity must have been seriously bad about sharing intel back then, you think? That's just normal. We can? Well, there goes my mother. I mean, there should be a queen beta, but it's not like, it's not exactly like the Tyranid thing then. If it does actually do that. I think. I don't know what I'm talking about though. Yeah, so buffering period. So they couldn't transfer to the ones near America and Canada since they're too far away. That made sense, maybe, if that's right.
共に月から飛来したカシュガルとアサバスカの着陸ユニットに対空戦術の情報共有がなかったことからの推測だ。
I see.
以上のことからベータは戦術情報を統合的に運用していないという予測が。
So in human terms, it'd be like having every frontline base operate independently but occasionally exchange intel. That seems pretty lackadaisical. Do they not just see us as a threat at all? Alright, so overall, what they're saying is the Hive just do whatever they want, and if they get some important information, they send it to the others, but they don't act like... They usually don't team up. Or act, yeah, they don't cooperate. They usually just do their own thing. Sure, they outnumber us, but I don't get why they'd operate so inefficiently. Not that I'm complaining, since humanity never would have lasted this long otherwise. Yeah, it's a blessing, man.
このようにベータはその戦術や戦略のみならず情報運用も非常に低レベルであり知的生命体であることすら疑わしいが
I don't know how they quantify intelligent life forms, but I feel like they're intelligent enough.
ここ数年に見られる
I don't
レ
know.
ーザー属種の戦術パターンの変化は我々をさらに困惑させる。
Laser class species. They've changed their
繰
tactics.
り返しになるが地球に到達して以来レーザー属種は
Right,
航空
right.
兵器の撃破を最優先している。これそして次にレーザー属種が優先撃破の対象としたのが高性能コンピューターを搭載した兵器だ。対戦中期までの統計データでは歩兵より高機動車装甲車よりも戦車を優先して攻撃する傾向が見て取れる。
Okay.
また偵察や拠点防衛用の無人兵器についても搭載コンピューターの能力が高ければ高いほど優先的に攻撃している。
Wonder how they detect that. Like, what has a stronger computer? Unless they just gather information and put it in their database so they can just instantly realize what has this stronger computer.
その識別方法は依然不明だがそれこそがミサイルより砲弾が迎撃されにくい大きな要因だと推測されている。
Right, good old-fashioned shelling. Gotcha, bombs and shells might have computer chips in them these days, but they're not particularly sophisticated. Yeah, that'd go old school on their asses.
航空兵力を持たないベータが人類の空軍力を真っ先に無力化したこと、そして兵器の性能を左右するコンピューターを基準に脅威度の格付けをしていること。
Yeah, okay.
この2つの事実は軍の上層部や研究者たちをある意味
It is useful. At least what strategies to use. A relief? How so?
脅威度の高い兵器を優先的に無力化する行動は人類の戦術戦略概念との共通性
Yeah,
を
the fact they have
垣間見る
priorities. I mean, doesn't that automatically categorize them as intelligent life forms then? They can recognize that. Gotcha. They were happy to find at least one thing about the beta that wasn't completely incomprehensible to us. Bet they thought they'd make them easier to predict.
だが最近その脅威度の格付けに変化があった。
Changing.
ここ数年ベータは明らかに人間が登場している兵器を識別し優先的に攻撃している。
Okay. I guess since you're using them way more, they probably just reevaluated their threat compared to the computer ones, right? Huh? But didn't you say that humans or infantrymen rather were their lowest priority? I mean, at least in my mind, I feel like this isn't that hard to grasp since we're just mainly using those now and not the other stuff. They probably just looked at the situation and say, hey, these things are killing us more than the other things now. We should prioritize those more. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's not that hard to understand why they changed focus.
脅威度のランキングそのものに変化はないようだ。だが、有人兵器をより上位に設定している。
Bam, bam, bam. So even if the onboard computers are equally powerful, they'll go after the one with a human in it first.
人類を生命体と認識していないベータがどうやって有人兵器を識別し、なぜそれを優先するようになったのか。例によって その理由は全く分かっていない。
I mean, it can be anything. One idea that pops into my mind is maybe they realize that the force they're fighting values the people more than the unmanned machines. So they're like, okay, even though these guys are less threatful, it actually deals a more powerful blow to the enemy if we kill the manned ones. That's something, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Wait a second. Did this have anything to do with the fact that they're experimenting on human prisoners? That's a great connection I didn't think of, but that could possibly be true. Did they start targeting manned weaponry as a result of that? Or was it the other way around?
唯一はっきりしているのは、戦場において最も高性能なコンピューターを搭載した有人兵器。つまり、戦術機が真っ先にベータに狙われるという。
It's not good for our lifespans. I mean, it made sense. TSFs are the most effective anti-beta weapon we have, but that doesn't mean our tanks and infantry are safe from the beta. The beta destroy everything in their path, organic or artificial, man or machine.
これまでの話からもわかるように、ベータという生命体は我々人類には全く理解できない異質な存在だ。我々は未だにベータが知的生命体なのか、単なる異星起源の生物に過ぎないのかすら特定できていない。だからこそ人類はその存在や行動に理解可能な意味を持たせようと必死になっている。シロアリの社会構造をモデルにした旧来の説をベースに、ベータ全体を一つの生物に見立てるのが学説の最新流行だ。
Hold on, wait, let me reread this. This seems important to my ant theory. Instead of likening their societal structure to an ant colony, we now think of them as more of a hive mind than individual organisms. Isn't an ant colony a hive mind, though? This is not like fully a hive mind because they do have their own will, but still. It's as close as a hive mind as we have for like normal animals, actually. I feel like that's a great Google question. What animals are hive minds? Bees, ants, termites, and even migratory birds display characteristics of a hive mind, where the entire group behaves as if they're controlled by a single mind, the Tyranids, and work collectively toward achieving a goal. Wait, my Tyranid theory might be right then. But we don't have like a full hive mind. Bee colonies are often cited as a natural example of a hive mind. I'm just interested because why are they like saying instead of likening their societal structure to an ant colony? Because ant colonies are basically hive minds, but I guess they're thinking they're even more hive mindy than an ant colony that's already a hive mind. They're super hive minds. With all caps. Absence of any sort of computer. Okay, yeah, it's like what I was saying. They're born for a singular purpose. That's why it's hard to adapt. I'm cooking when I don't fully grasp everything. Let's go. In other words, they might not be intelligent life, but simply terrestrial organisms that travel through space on instinct alone. I guess are hive minds not intelligent life because you're born for a single purpose and usually don't deviate? I guess that does make sense when I think about it like that. So we're saying the beta made spacecraft and hives the same way insects make honeycombs and anthills, without any knowledge of math or engineering. Sounds reasonable. That is kind of scary though. I feel like that's way worse than intelligent aliens invading us, because at least like maybe we can come to some agreement or something But if they're just like, if this is just their nature, then you have to wipe them out or you're just screwed, right? There's no negotiating at all.
例えば大きな謎である各ベータ種の生物学的な差異。
Because they're born for specific purposes.
これは ES 細胞から分化した人体核部が全く違う形をしているのと同じだとする説。むしろ背部が本体であり、各種ベータは細胞内のミトコンドリアのように段階的に取り込まれた別の生物であるとする説。
The hive is like the real organism, and the beta are just like parts of it.
今年の春、アメリカの学者が発表した説では、背部が脳に当たる働きをし、
I mean, that's literally a hive mind to its. I mean, that's just what I said, by the way, though fancier. But that's literally a hive mind. The more I hear about them, the more alien the beta feel to me. I definitely sympathize with all the scientists working for the alternative program. But from what she said so far, it definitely seems like the beta might be no different from wild beasts. Even animals are capable of pattern-based learning, and they can also identify and take advantage of humans to fulfill their own needs. Back in my world, I remember hearing about crows that would leave nuts on the street, wait for cars to run over them so they could get at the insides. How the human body is capable of supporting hundreds of different bacteria and parasites at a time. There's nothing weird about multiple species of beta coexisting. It's a little different, but sure, I agree. The general point. They might have spacecraft, but that doesn't mean they're all that intelligent. They seem pretty damn stupid, actually. The fortresses. Alright. Yo, first look. What is that? Oh, it's weird. Metal ass looking thing. Guess it's kinda termite-ish looking. Not really. I don't know. As you already know, a hive is a forward base established at the impact point of the beta spacecraft. Okay, so that's their actual ship. And they just build it into a hive when it crashes. Yeah, so that's just a start point, but most of it's like underground, like a ant colony or whatever. Yeah. Hold. Okay. Phases. Mars. Yeah, so like the end goal, every hive just gets massive. Does that have anything to do with the difference in gravity? I think it's just because they were developed there longer, right? I assume they've been on Mars longer than Earth. Either way, the lack of humans to get in their way must make it a lot easier to build on Mars. Yeah, exactly. Poor Mars, man. Just all the planets before Earth are probably colonized already. But can they even colonize, like, Saturn and shit? Maybe. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention from looking at Mars, the moon, and the continent of Eurasia. Right, okay, so they have to be a certain distance away from each other. Made sense. So they migrate, that made sense. Smart. I see, so that's how we've bought ourselves so much time. It doesn't sound effective, but if they have no other plan, slow them down as much as possible, I guess. Huh? Oh? Yeah. It's just a temporary measure, right? You want to get rid of them, not just slow them down. I see. Yeah, and it drains resources. So you can't, like, get that nice attack in if you're constantly using stuff in, investing resources into this. I see. 20 hours. Very short phase then.
この段階では地下のシャフトとベータの出入り口であるゲートが作られ、背部の基礎が形成される。
Right.
それと同時にユニット内のベータが活性化し、周辺地域に進行を開始。その後、着陸ユニットの反応炉がベータによってシャフト伝いに最深部まで下ろされ、背部の主導力源となるのだ。
Okay. See, now they don't sound like wild animals at all. I feel like the more I learn, the less I know. I mean, it sounds intelligent, but again, just think of it like ants and stuff. You ever seen like a huge ant colony, like in like Africa or something? The structures are actually kind of crazy, the architecture, or termites. Yeah, their power source.
最初こそこうした浅い場所にあるが、段階を経て成長するシャフトに合わせ、常に最深部に移設され、厳重に守られる。
Okay, yeah, so it gets lower each time it expands, so basically the higher the phase, the harder it is to cut off the power.
この最初に作られ、成長し続けるシャフトをメインシャフトと呼ぶ。背部攻略でここにたどり着くことができれば、反応炉はいただいたも同然だ。なお、これ以降の段階では個々の背部によってスタブの成長速度はバラバラだ。例によって
Right, so there's variance.
したがって背部の成長段階はモニュメントの高さを基準に設定。
I mean, that made sense. Having a benchmark like that for a guesstimate. Yeah. Okay.
モニュメントが建設され始め、その高さが50メートルに達するものはフェーズ2に分類される。
50 meter monument.
背部の拡張に伴い、ベータの個体数が爆発的に増加し、この段階で周囲 30km 圏内の植物は
Rip the natural foliage.
この時のメインシャフトの最大直径は約100メートル。最大深度は約350メートル。また、ドリフトやホールが発達し始め、スタブの水平到達半径は約 2km に達する。
So this is what the inside of a hive looks like, huh? It does kind of remind me of something an insect would make. Yeah, exactly.
横浜ハイブは分類こそフェーズ2だが、メインシャフトの直径と最大深度はフェーズ4並みという得意例だ。
Right, but like you said, those are bound to vary from hive to hive, so the phase is based solely on the height of the monument. Yeah, exactly. It's just impossible since it's all underground, right? And there's no way to read what's happening underground. There's no better way so far. We knew for a while. They didn't though. We had the tech. Bigger main hall. Lower down. That's pretty deep.
また、モニュメントの頂上部にベントと呼ばれる穴が開けられ、メインシャフトが露天状態となる。
Okay, so there's a hole at the top of the monument now.
ドリフトの成長に伴い数多く存在するゲートも常に災害沿部に移設されていく。突入作戦の際、入り口になるのがこれらのゲートだ。したがって背部の規模が大きくなればなるほど攻略が困難になる。複雑で立体的なスタブの中を延々進軍すれば、それだけ大量のベータと戦うことになるわけだ。
Makes sense.
その状況を打破するために、対戦中期にはベントから直接メインシャフトに突入し、直下の反応炉を強襲するという戦術が何度も試された。
But it just can't break
だ
through.
が結果は惨憺たるもので、
Yeah.
突入どころかベントに
I
たどり
see.
着くことすらできなか
So
ったケー
obviously,
スが
like,
ほとんどだった。
this is my translation. Obviously, the best thing would to just go straight down. But obviously, there's just too much security there. So they're going through this. But obviously, these are housed by little beta armies, which also make things rough. But at least it's possible.
突入に至った場合でも、降下中に直下からのレーザー照射を受け、
Got some laser boys down here. Made sense. Yeah, I had a feeling it wouldn't be that easy.
この問題への一つの回答が、現在の背部攻略で採用されている機動降下戦術だ。脇道にそれるが、話のついでに触れておこう。機動降下とは、再突入型駆逐艦に搭載した戦術機を地球
Oh
低
shit.
軌道から直接
We're
背部に
airdropping them
展開する
in.
戦術だ。その際、戦術機はリエントリーシェル
Yeah,
と呼ばれる
literally
対立
airdropping
走行
them in.
カプセルで再突入する。リエントリーシェルの走行は表層が耐熱対弾走行、その下に対レーザー弾と同様の構造を持っている。これは極超音速で再突入の際に発生する大気との摩擦熱と
Yeah,
レーザー級による迎撃への対策である。
definitely need both of those things.
そして効果の最終段階では突入口を確保するための運動エネルギー兵器としても使用されるのだ。
A kinetic what?
大気圏突入後、リエントリーシェルは再突入減速をせず、ロケットブースターにて加速する。
Okay, so like, not only is it a way to dead end, you're literally like kind of bombing them, and it is just the impact makes a big kinetic explosion, and then you can get your TSF in for the real mission. Well, yeah, that seems like a good strat. Sounds a lot like what the HSST was doing before Tama had to shoot it down.
通常
True.
の作戦で
Yeah,
は、
same
機
principle,
動
I
降下
guess.
前に地表のレーザー級の7割以上が相当されている想定だが、高高度でレーザー照射された場合は即座に、何もなければ高度2000メートル付近で戦術機を分離。リエントリーシェルは降下軌道を先行して戦術機の盾となり、その後はそのまま地表に
Okay, I mean that makes a lot of
背部そ
sense.
のものや展開中のベータ軍に損害を与えるのだ。
So you don't like fully go into it, like it explodes and you come out. Your TSF actually exits the shell first. I mean, that yeah, I guess it wouldn't have really made sense if they just stayed in and were somehow unharmed.
その際、モニュメントやスタブの一部を破壊することで、よりメインシャフトに近い突入口を多数確保できるというわけだ。
Yeah, this is sounding more and more like the HSST incident. This just means that whoever was responsible for that was making use of a pre-existing tactic. Pretty ironic when you think about it, especially considering Yokohama base used to be a hive. Yeah, it's a little goofy.
80年代後半に
It's a little
この
goofy.
戦術が確立されたことで、背部の最高到達深度記録は飛躍的な伸びを見せた。だが、この戦術をもってしても、未だ攻略できた背部は存在しないのが現実。
It's rough out here. Either way, it's still a pretty clever tactic. Yeah, I like it. Sounds good. If the shell gets hit by the lasers at high altitude, it'll break off from the TSF, releasing a heavy metal cloud to protect it. And assuming it's not destroyed, it'll crash into the ground, make a new entrance. Yeah, so it's always crashing, which is good. It's a very brute force approach, but after so many years of trying and failing to capture a hive, I'd say it's a step in the right direction.
機動降下戦術の確立により、 最高到達記録は伸びたが、フェーズ3以降
Oh.
になると深度に関しての実測データは存在
That's
しない。
not good, especially if the highest when the stage sits and it can get even bigger.
これ以降の数字はランドサットや地質探査機のデータを元にした推測値だ。
I mean, we knew that. We knew this is all just estimates. Yep.
モニュメントが高度300メートルに達する
4.
と分類はフェーズ4となる。佐渡島ハイブがこの段階だ。
It's a biggie.
スタブの水平到達半径約 10km。
That's so deep, man.
1200メートル。メインシャフトの最大直径200メートル。ドリフトの最大直径100メートル。
Damn, I figured the drifts and hulls would be pretty huge considering TSFs can navigate them, but I didn't think they'd be this huge.
この規模まで来
Yeah,
る
it's
と
fucking
ハイブを
massive
中
to
心
think
に
about.
半径 40km 圏内の地表は火山以外ほぼ平らにならされてしまう。
They don't touch volcanoes. Does that mean the beta aren't impervious to lava? Good to know, I guess. Maybe that's the reason the areas around Hakone and Mount Tendon were so full of greenery. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
モニュメントが高度600メートルに達するとフェーズ5に分類される。
Oh my god, bro, it's too big. What do you do?
スタブの水平到達半径約 30km。
2,000 meters
最
down.
大深度は 2000m 以上だ。フェーズ5以後のハイブは
New
これまでの
ability
ものと
just
明ら
dropped.
かに違う機
Hold
能を
on.
持つようになる。簡単に言うと宇宙船の打ち上げ基地だ。
What?
ハイブのモニュメントが東に傾斜しているのはそのためらしい。
Well, that's not good. They can launch spacecraft, and then they... Okay, so... And the spacecraft is used to create other hives, right? So once a hive gets to stage 5, they can properly make other hives. But didn't they just say... Didn't they just say that was their old explanation, and now that's just based on population control?
本当に宇宙船かどうかはわからないが、不定期に何かを打ち上げていることは確かだ。
I don't know. Just let them cook. For what process? For what purpose,
今
though?
のところそれが何であるかは分かっている。
Okay, so it's not for
火星
hives.
への連絡便か
They're sending this shit up actually into space. Hmm. Huh?
確かなのはそれが太陽系を脱出する軌道に投入されている
Oh,
ことだ。
bro, they're leaving the whole solar system. And that's the scariest part. Even if we, like, clear the beta, like, it's not like they're gone forever. They're still, like, infesting the moon and the rest of our solar system, and probably, like, the whole main beta thing is, like, just in another universe, or however you classify space stuff. I don't know the difference between solar system, galaxies, and universes. But yeah, even if we clear them all on Earth, it's still we're still in trouble, kind of. Escape the solar system? Then why can't the UN or US space fleets capture them? You guys made a freaking moon base? How hard could it be?
それは過去に何度か試みられた。だが、
Too
いず
fast?
れも失敗している。
Or what? So like the beta shoot them down, or what?
いや、そうではない。
Then what's the problem?
私は専門外なのだが、いつ打ち上げられるのかもわからない高速移動体。しかもそれを低軌道で捕捉することは
Yeah, fast as fuck, and also you don't know when they're popping off.
まして今の人類にそのために力を割く余裕はない。やるとすれば全地球規模の、そうだな、ウルタネイティブ計画以上の力を注がねばならない。
Alright, well, it's just not a real option then. Are you serious? What happened to all those resources that were being soaked up by Alternative 5? Well, you just answered your own question. They're being soaked up by Alternative 5 instead of being put into capturing those spaceships. Weren't they building a migrant fleet up at the nearest Lagrange point until recently? Excuse me. If we had the resources to do that, then why not this? No, that's not fair, actually. We're comparing humanity's last attempt at survival to capturing a beta spacecraft. Yeah, it's a lot less risky. There's no contest. The former's far more imperative, hands down.
残念だが、
I mean, the spaceship could give us great tact, but it is risky. It could literally reveal nothing. Anything beyond our atmosphere's beta territory, just like the moon and Mars. Scary, man. Hell yeah, brother. Nuke them. Which they've been doing successfully, right? But their hives are only in Europe and Asia right now. Wait a second. I never thought about this before, but why didn't the beta shoot down Alternative 5's migrant fleet in the previous timeline? It's a great question. I mean, they're obviously launching things into space, albeit sporadically. Hell, that's where they came from originally. Those migrant ships must have been equipped with high-tech computers that would have put the TSFs to shame, right? And there are tons of people on board to boot. Why wouldn't the beta attack them? I feel like that's a question for Yuko. Actually, for that matter, if space is truly their domain, then how come they left our satellites intact? Or maybe we just have a misunderstanding and they can't actually attack us in space. That would be kind of an oversight. The UN and the US both maintain active space stations in low Earth orbit. Why haven't they been shot down? Actual good questions by Tataru. Not the captain would know, of course. If she did, I'm sure she would have already gone over it. And then Yuko Sensei questions. Put it down in your notebook. I guess only the beta would know? Or Yuko? Because she knows everything. Okay, stage 6? Or phase 6, I mean. It's a big monument. Oh my god. 100 kilometers down, bro. That's insane. What do you do? And we're screwed. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, they would have tunneled too much. Which would pretty much spell doom for Japan. Yeah, that made sense. Just the immediate threat. Yep. But they, at the very least, they should be okay for another 3 years. I know my memories from last time aren't completely reliable anymore, but I don't recall the beta ever surfacing on Honshu. But we can be sure that the beta are constantly expanding their hives, which means the stab is getting closer and closer every day. And we can't discount the possibility they'll suddenly pick up the pace. There's no way to predict when the beta might breach the final defense line. Everyone in Japan must be scared shitless. No wonder those guys had such an easy time inciting that coup. Must be tough to divide your attention with a threat like that hanging over your head. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's no point of going over it for now. Okay. That was a lot of information. It's fun though. Got it. Sure seems like there's a lot of material left to cover, which makes sense since it's about the beta and all. No, it's interesting for sure. It's just a lot. Yeah, we're going into a hive. Net speak. It's kinda crazy. Not at all. If anything, having all these various topics summed up in... Oh, also, yeah, obviously these are condensed lessons, because these are personal lessons for stuff we missed. Kind of forgot about that aspect. Forgot we're the only one in class. Not at all. If anything, having all these various topics summed up in relation to one another is way easier for me than tackling them one by one. Fair enough. Oh, beta species. That's interesting. I think we gotta leave this for next time though, right? The 50-minute mark? I think we will. Okay. Anyways, good episode. We've learned about hives and beta tactics and in general. Beta life forms in general. Very, very informative. Next time, we'll learn about specific species, which is actually sounds pretty fun. And maybe we'll have some Sumita time too. But yeah, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time on some more Muv Luv Alternative.